Podcast Network Asia.
You are listening to First Metro Securities Philippine Stock Market Weekly Podcast, where we feature timely and relevant discussions on the Philippine stock market and the economy in the hope of providing you investing and trading guidance. Here's your host.
Okay, all right, everyone. Let's get this show on the road. Welcome to the Philippine Stock Market Weekly Podcast. I'm your host, Joanna Blanca, a proud market educator at First Metro Securities. We're here to make investing less intimidating and more accessible. At First Metro Securities, we believe everyone should have the opportunity to grow their wealth. Our mission is to equip our clients and the general public with the essential knowledge they need to make informed and confident financial decisions. Today, we're diving deep into the investing journey of our very own First Metro Securities Market Education Team. Joining me are Vice President and the Head of Business Development and Market Education, Mr. Andoy Beltran, Mindanao Section Head, Mr. JP Billones, and Market Education Officer, Ms. Monette Pangatungan. In this episode, we'll explore their personal investment experiences, strategies, and insights. So, good afternoon, Sir Andoy, JP, and Ms. Monette.
Hello. Good afternoon, Joe. Hi, guys. JP Manette.
Good afternoon.
Yes, thank you so much for your time. So let's not waste any more time. Let's kick things off by asking our guest the starting point of their investing journey. Can you tell us about your initial motivations for starting to invest? And what were your financial goals at the time? So maybe we can start off with Sir Andoy, JP, and Ms. Monette.
Yeah, sige. Joe, I'd be lying if I tell you guys na hindi pera yung initial motivation. It's always been about money, but my journey's really made a lot more. I don't want to say challenging, but it's made the journey made me a lot more tougher in the sense that I'm doing this not just for my personal life goals alone. No? I was raised by a single mom. So nakita ko during the entire process yung struggles. There even came a point na mga elementary in particular high school, hindi naman ako covered ng athletic scholarship while I'm playing for my school. Hindi siya full athletic scholarship. So my mom still had to pay a considerable amount of money. And alam ko na nagpo-promissory note siya. Alam ko na nagbabayad siya through promissory notes at nililihim niya, sinisecret niya sa akin syempre because ayaw niyang maapektuhan ako sa studies ko. Pero nalalaman ko yun kasi sa akin nagpa-follow up, sa student nagpa-follow up. No? So, that's pretty much the reason why I wanted to be very successful, not just in life, but also when it comes to investing. Because I'd like to be able to give back to the people who made everything possible. Yung mga nag-chip in sa pagbibigay sa akin ng allowance, ng baon, pang tuition. So the motivation really is for me to be able to give back. Hindi not so much for me, not so much for my gusto ko ng sports car, gusto ko ng gano'n. It's really for me to be able to give back and provide my mom and my family with a very convenient and comfortable lives, no. So yun yung goal eh. And up until now, parang yun pa rin, hindi naman nabago yun, pero because of First Metro Sec, parang syempre gusto ko rin maging instrument yung journey and yung knowledge for other people to replicate and for us to be able to inspire other people to pretty much do the same.
Yeah, so for Sir Andoy, it's giving back to other people sa mga tumulong sa kanya and also sharing some insights dun sa ibang tao. So yeah, let's move on to Ms. Monette.
So for the very reason why I started investing, because it's when I joined the investment competition of the Philippine Stock Exchange and the First Metro Group. So gusto ko talaga, yung grupo namin, gusto naming manalo kasi may 100,000 peso na cash prize yon. Plus, you have the opportunity to be in the trading floor when you are being awarded. So fortunately, after 3 or 5 months na stock investing journey, na-represent namin yung university namin, and then it was a great experience then to be with other mga university participants and as well as yung mga president of PSE and the First Metro Group during the awarding ceremony. So yun, diba? Yung first talaga yung goal is to get the prize para instead na mag-virtual trading, it will be my capital na in the real stock trading journey. And then, I actually reviewed yung mga previous na mga goals ko, financial goals. The first talaga is to generate more money from what I have. And then, I also want to have an investment, separate na investment for traveling. Tapos, also passive income, having multiple na sources of income. And then also, I have noted as well, fund or investment fund in buying my house, investment fund in buying my car, and then also retiring early. So those were actually some of my few not really few kasi ang rami nun, but these are my investment goals when I started investing. So yun siya.
Yes, thank you, Miss Luneth. No, so for the sake lang of the conversation, actually, Miss Luneth has been very participative, no? So meron siyang kumbaga history sa company namin na meron siyang picture with our president. So she mentioned that she joined that competition. So meron siyang picture with our very own president, Mr. Gonzalo Verdonez. And then also the second one is also for other income and as well as future plans. So that involves retirement. So now let's move on with JP.
Right. Thank you, Jo. No, that's a very wonderful question. Parang it has brought me back to the memories, di ba? And I think similar to Moneth and Sir Andoy, I think all of us started to consider investing because we all want to grow our hard-earned money. And hopefully we attach that growth to achieve our financial goals faster. For me, I actually realized early on that time will really come na we can't be as productive as we are currently are. And dyan na po pumapasok yung usapang retirement. And I think all of us would agree that retirement is very inevitable. It will happen at some point in time. So might as well prepare it while we are still are very productive. And likely kasi parang during that time, nakita ko na yung future na possibility, di ba? When retirement comes, yung income potential natin will likely drop and yung cost ng goods and services will likely continue to go up pa din, no? That's the challenge. The income potential goes down, but the cost of the goods and services will likely still go up. And I believe investing is one of the best ways to beat inflation and maybe achieve retirement earlier. And I currently have a long-term plan towards retirement and milestones that serve as my parang interim checkpoint towards that specific goal. So, yun, that's my initial motivations for starting to invest. Thank you, Jo.
Yes, thank you, JP. So, yung kay JP naman, it's more of value ng money. So again, thank you so much, Sir Andoy, Ms. Moneth, and JP, for sharing your initial motivations and your financial goals with us. So let's now talk and move on to our second question naman. So it's more of the learning curve. Okay. So what were some of your biggest challenges and mistakes, that you encountered as you were learning to invest? And also, paano niyo siya na-overcome yung mga challenges na yun? Okay, so maybe we can start with JP, Sir Andoy, Ms. Moneth.
All right, that's a really good question, because again, life develops, di ba? And syempre, when you are starting out, you usually encounter biggest challenges, like for example, you think when you start your investing journey, it's going to be a very smooth ride, but actually it's not, There will be downturns or whatnot, mga emotional biases. I can actually share siguro many mga experiences that I have. But for this podcast, I'm going to share one of my biggest challenge, which is actually overtrading. Because if I may share with you, I started off as an active trader talaga. Kasi noon, I used to be a researcher. Medyo sanay ako tumingin ng mga sets of data and I like looking into trends. 'Di ba? And yun, ganun. When you trade the stock market, that's one of the first things that you look at. You look at the trends of the stock that you're inclined to trade. Pero again, the motivation there is that it was to capture mga short-term opportunities para maka-profit sa market. And sometimes, syempre, gusto natin na kumita ng profits and hopefully frequently din natin siya nagagawa. Actually, yung ganun na strategy, yung pagtitrade, wala naman talagang problem. Lalo na if you are profitable. Pero hindi naman natin talaga alam yung galaw ng market. Nagiging challenging lang yung overtrading, lalo na pag you are on a losing streak. No? I experienced that noon na parang every time you trade, parang talo parate. No? Parang 5 consecutive losses. And paminsan nakakadismaya siya. And worst, when you encounter yung mga massive losses talaga. And sometimes when that happens to you, one thing I realized with that experience is that paminsan it's nice to take a step back and maybe give trading a break to cool the mind off. No? Tapos, lalo na kasi pag nag-overtrade tayo, alam natin that more trades we do, it will lead to higher transaction costs and syempre, lower na overall returns. Now, that's my challenge, no, yung experience ko. Now, I overcame this challenge when I learned from Warren Buffett, one of the greatest investors of our time. He has this quote, sabi niya, yung stock market is a no-called strike game. No? So, hindi siya parehas ng baseball na once na the ball passes through you 3 times, you're already nasa strikeout ka. But the stock market is not like that. You don't have to actually swing at everything. You can just wait for your perfect pitch na kumbaga, no? Na hindi naman lahat ng opportunities kailangan mong sinasabayan, no? Especially right now, I only take on trades that are aligned with my personal investment strategy. So yan, my biggest challenge is overtrading, and I hope I was able to share with you how I was able to overcome it. Thank you, Jo.
Yes, thank you, JP. So now let's move to Sir Andoy.
Yeah, ako sobrang simple lang, and I think there's something a good number of our listeners can relate to. It's about greed. Greed will always be there, Parang I think there's also connected to the fact that I'm super motivated to make lots of money in the shortest amount of time possible. Gusto ko agad maging generous when it comes to being a breadwinner. Gusto ko ma-achieve lahat ng goals ko. Gusto ko agad makabawi sa mommy ko when it comes to the finer things in life. So they say, Kaya ang pinaka problema ko when I was just starting was all about greed. Parang out the window yung risk profiling, lahat ng pwedeng riskiest assets possible, out the window yung proper diversification plan, out the window yung asset allocation. Basta nakita ko ito, sagad yung potential nito, sige dito tayo. For context, I started investing 2005. So 2005, 2006, 2007, the market's pretty much doing good. So it worked to my advantage. But I realized yung immaturity ko during the 2008 financial crisis, So doon ko nakita yung value of really understanding the market well. And I've never been an investments guy right from the get-go. When I was with my first employer after college, I was hired as part of their management training program. First couple of years, I was assigned under the operations team, and then only after that did I have exposure sa investments. So what I'm really trying to say here is yung maturity ko when it comes to investing, malaking tulong yung assignment ko or reassignment, so to say, to the investments group, because that's how serious I am when it comes to my day job. I'm super competitive. Gusto ko na-achieve lahat ng targets. Gusto ko na-achieve lahat ng goals. At the same time, I'd like to surpass that. Parang inisip ko, I'm beyond the target. I can go beyond the target. Doon ko nakita yung value of preparation. Doon ko nakita yung value of understanding how the market works, how to read markets, and how to analyze certain things. Doon ko rin nakita yung importansya ng patience. Nasabi nga ni JP, very important. You don't need to swing at every pitch. Kailangan mong tingnan if it's something na you understand, if it's something which aligns with your principles, with your trading strategy. But pretty much yung learning curve na yun hanggang ngayon nadadala ko. Kasi sabi nila, diba, the best teachers are those who kept on failing over and over again. Because these people aren't teaching from theories. These people are teaching from experiences. And I think that's what made us, Maneth, JP, myself, very effective then when it comes to teaching, because we're not just teaching from books, we're not teaching from brochures, we're really teaching from our very own experiences. Pag merong mga kailangang i-replicate from the wins, then that's what you're going to get from us. Kapag merong dapat iwasan from our very own mistakes, then that's what we're going to tell you. Don't make the same mistakes that we've committed. So again, learning is very important. But as market educators like us, we can't teach what we don't know. So what we are teaching you guys are stuff that we already know, whether it be by the wins or whether it be by our mistakes.
Okay, thank you, Sir Andoy. Now, Miss Monet?
Yes. Okay, so for the question, no, biggest challenges. So napaisip tuloy ako ulit. Joke. So the biggest challenge, nagte-trade ako once in a while after nung virtual stock trading competition na nasalihan ko. So, yung challenge when I started working is hindi na kasi mas marami yung oras na nag-google mo whenever you research something for that certain company. So, may isang stock transaction ako na nag-buy ako on news. It was a merger and an acquisition na parang news sa isang company. So, hindi lahat ng merger and acquisition for a certain company is good for that company. So, yung nangyari, I bought an all-time high na stock at 320 pesos. Mga 2019 yon. So, what I did is that consistently na lang akong nag-invest quarterly. Parang sinasabay ko siya sa bonus namin before. Kasi, diba, before, may 8,000 pesos na rule para ma-maximize mo yung transaction cost. Ayaw kong bumili ng below 8,000 kasi mas mataas dapat yung hurdle na percentage na i-target ko. So, 8,000 pesos every month is quite heavy for me. So, yung ginawa ko na 8,000 every quarter para katapat siya ng bonus. So, may nakalaan na siya sa bonus. So, from 2019 up to the present, yun yung ginawa ko for that certain na company. Yun yung parang malaking kamalian ko sa stock. And then, presently right now, hindi na siya negative talaga. So, I was able to average down it to 221 pesos na. So, ito, parang na-realize ko na ito talaga yung effectiveness ng peso cost averaging strategy. So, whenever I am asked by any audience or attendees, ano daw yung reaction ko kung yung certain company ay bumaba talaga eventually. So, yun yung sinishare ko. And I hope to still replicate it with my other stocks since hindi naman lahat ng stocks on my portfolio are all green. So, I'm also replicating it with my other stocks para eventually bumalik na yung green na status ng portfolio ko. So, yun siya.
Okay, thank you so much. So, based on your answers, no, you have a lot of challenges and at the same time, learning curve din. So, kumbaga, the point is, learning to invest can be challenging talaga. And also, it's very important to learn then from your mistakes. So, you've mentioned actually investment strategy, no? So, that's my next question. So, can you describe your investment strategy? Like, do you prefer stocks, bonds, real estate, or maybe combination of the three? So maybe let's start with Ms. Manette, Sir Andoy, JP?
Thank you for that question, John. No? For me, it's a combination talaga ng stocks, bonds, UITF, even yung mga professionally managed fund, and some portions sa real estate. Because importante kasi yung diversification. There are instances na yung stocks mo red. So, lugi ka. But then, with your bonds, pwede niyang mapunan yung losses mo with stocks. Kasi, you are sure that you receive quarterly na interest from bonds. And then, there are also times na, since hindi ka talaga makafocus on investing on your own with stocks, may actively managed pa din naman ako na UITF or mutual fund by professional fund managers. So, with the UITF and mutual funds, right now, parang mas attracted ako sa mga income-paying na funds para may monthly din ako na ma-receive na dividends monthly. And then right now, also with real estate, exploring din kami with real estate because it's attractive also to receive rental income every month. So yun lang, with a portion of bonds, stocks, parang 50-50 siya. So 50% with the bonds and then 50% with the stocks.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Manette. Sir Andoy?
Alam mo sa akin, Jo, I've been exposed to a number of business and investment opportunities at a very young age. No? In fact, I was second, third year college. I've already been running. Hindi pa uso yung mga online businesses, but I've already been running an online business. I'm buying and selling and importing car parts and accessories because I used to race before. I used to build cars. I used to race. I used to provide parts, accessories to fellow racers. No, and in fact, I was doing pretty good. The problem is, in hindsight, I was doing good, but I wasn't able to save. So parang kumikita, sumisikat yung business, pero hindi ako nakasave. Until I got exposed to budgeting, until I got exposed to saving, until I got exposed to investment opportunities when I graduated, when I started working for a bank. Doon ko na-realize na parang it's not enough that you're making money. It's not enough that you are actually raking in money. But what's important is you're able to keep a certain percentage of that on a regular basis. Importante yun sa investment strategy ko moving forward because I considered that business venture a failure. A failure kahit na sikat. A failure kahit na marami akong naging kliyente because at the end of the day, parang hindi siya naging sustainable. I eventually had to close that business down because of the tsunami sa Japan noong 2011 because most of my parts I ordered them from Japan. Although ngayon from time to time I still overnight parts from Japan for friends and for personal use pero for commercial purposes not so much. Yung investing strategy ko moving forward was really to safeguard my entire portfolio. So sabi nga ni Monef parang dapat meron kang mga investments na hindi ganun ka-aggressive but gives you regular liquidity, no? So while bulk of my investments are in stocks, I've mixed them up, no? I've combined them with merong mga fixed income instruments. I'm a fan of the Bureau of the Treasury's retail treasury bonds, even premium bonds kasi umaasa ako from time to time na mananalo ako sa mga quarterly draws nila. No? Siyempre, because of First Metrosec, I signed up dun sa voluntary investment program namin sa company. So every payday, I order a certain amount of First Metro exchange traded funds. Tapos, as soon as ma-launch yung real estate investment trusts, I started buying real estate investment trusts, not just for me, but also for the account of my kids, no? Because of its quarterly dividend features to further diversify the exposure of my portfolio. Again, this is not me promoting First Metrosec, but this is me really being a fan of First Metrosec. I also started delving into foreign currency denominated funds from our FundSmart partners. No? So, meron mga feeder funds, meron mga fund of funds, meron pang mga REIT funds. If you'd like to go beyond the Philippines, if you'd like to go beyond the PSEI, beyond the blue chip stocks here in the country, you'd like to take advantage of the opportunities global investing brings along, pwede mong gawin yun without having to open several multiple accounts. No? All you need to do is to consolidate everything sa First Metrosec. I think that's what makes it very, very easy to sell, very easy to promote, because that's what we're campaigning for. We're making it simple, we're making it convenient, we're making it affordable, and we're allowing Filipinos to go beyond the Philippines. Halimbawa, sa palagay nila masyado nang malaki yung exposure nila sa bansa natin in peso terms. We can solve that problem by giving them several other layers of exposure outside the Philippines. So ayun, yun yung investment strategy ko so far, is to diversify as much as possible, take advantage of opportunities during the height of the pandemic. When before even the pandemic, no, yung nung nag-alboroto yung Taal volcano, I was able to acquire several farm lots sa Alfonso and sa Tagaytay. Ito, I think pwede ko nang sabihin, but it's supposed to be a secret. I'm getting another residential lot sa Tagaytay next month as my birthday gift sa wife ko. So naging opportunity yung capital market investing for me to start delving into actual real estate investments. And again, it's made possible because of the sheer desire to diversify and understand investment markets better.
Okay, thank you, Sir Andor. So that's a very, very great point. No, so let's move to JP.
All right. Thank you again for that question, Jo. No? And for me, my investment strategy parang it has evolved through the years, because different yung strategy ko when I started and where it is currently now at. No? When I started, I was really aggressive in a sense that all of my portfolio was in stocks, diba? And yun, it has, as I mentioned kanina, I used to be an active trader, but that has shifted already. And right now, I'd say my investment strategy is shifting from more active into something more passive, no? But it's still a mix between two. I still have a portion of my portfolio that I actively manage, but I'd say majority of my portfolio are actually passively managed, because in general, I use the peso cost averaging strategy for, let's say, for my investments sa Philippine Stock Exchange, because I do that via an index, no, or we call that the FMETF, which is a index tracker of the PSEI. So as I mentioned ni Sir Andoy kanina, I have also availed of our voluntary investment program via our salary deduction. That makes the experience hassle-free, because it's just taken out of my salary and it's auto invested to the top 30 stocks in the Philippines. No? But I used to be just doing that. But for some reason, no, si First Metrosec, they have actually expanded their services already. You probably know by now that we also offer bonds, no, both, for example, the government bonds. Noon, I didn't like bonds because for me that time, I thought that parang I don't like to get fixed rates and it's too conservative for me. But fortunately, before the pandemic, siguro something nudged me to try out retail treasury bonds. Because I wanted to try it out, we offer it through our platform as well. So I tried it, no? And I would say it has made an impact when the market plummeted during the 2020 na COVID, yung March na downturn ng market. And even though my stock portfolio went down, because I had exposure in bonds, it was able to give some level of stability to it because I plan to hold it up until maturity. And during that time, I'm receiving regular interest payments from the retail treasury fund. So fortunately, I was able to add positions on bonds as well. Yan. And in general, when it comes to stocks, I prefer dividend-paying stocks, and I prefer to invest in mature companies and real estate investment trust for the dividend structure it gives me. And some bit of undervalued stocks, but preferably I only get into those grossly undervalued stocks. So I have buying metrics on how I define my grossly undervalued stocks. And I also have some form of, again, my strategy is more of passive. So fortunately right now with mutual funds and UITFs that are globally diversified, that's one of the things that I realized this year, because when I look at my overall portfolio, it seems like I'm only invested just in the Philippine market, from stocks to bonds, even Pag-ibig MP2, or let's say cooperatives, but all of those are in the Philippines. So this year, I'm trying to diversify further by exploring global multi-asset funds that's invested in both global bonds and stocks. And similar to Manette, I like those that are also income paying, because that's my goal. I want my passive income to match my active income. So that's my current investment strategy. Again, it has evolved from something that's purely active to right now. It's more into passively managed, broad-based index funds and global multi-asset funds, plus local bonds. Yeah. Thank you, Jo.
Yes, thank you so much. So iba-iba talaga yung investment strategy natin, no? So let me just highlight. We heard diversification. So if you are familiar, not putting your eggs in one basket. So there are a lot of ways to diversify your investments. So another thing that was mentioned is not exploring other investment opportunities. So whether it be business, and also not limiting your exposure to stocks, bonds, and real estate. And then lastly, I think you also mentioned the passive income. So from our mutual funds, no, especially those funds that are income paying, and also automation also helps in your investment strategy. Kasi nga we are doing a lot of things. So sometimes maybe we are forgetting, no, how to save and invest, di ba? So automation is really important, and also yun, the voluntary investment program. So yeah, it's really good to hear your investment strategy. So let's move forward na, no, to our other aspects of investing. So my next question would be how important it is, no, diversification in your portfolio. And also, can you share some examples of how you diversify your investments? Okay, so yeah, Ms. Monette, Sir Andoy, JP.
Okay. So earlier, nasabi ko na yung sa diversification. So like reiterating lang a situation. So same with JP, no, during pandemic, yung prices ng stocks bumaba talaga. Almost 50% pa ng stock price. But with bond, if may bond ka sa portfolio mo, eto, sure ka na may interest kang ma-receive quarterly. And then right now, I have also explored the income-paying funds with First Metro Securities. So there are actually income-paying funds na monthly nagbibigay, quarterly, semi-annual, tsaka annual. So as for me, I explored on tatlong income-paying funds that are giving monthly. So with aside from stocks, meron pa din akong aside from stocks na may dividend and capital appreciation, with bonds na may interest income, meron pa din akong professionally managed fund under UITF at saka mutual fund. So it's parang ito yung way na nakaka-offset pag bumaba yung stock market, at least may bond ka pa na may interest income ka pang makukuha from the bonds. So yun na siya.
Yes, thank you, Ms. Monette. Sir Andoy?
Alam mo sa akin, Jo, parang na-realize ko lang when I was trying to contemplate dun sa question is the fact that maybe our role as market educators, it actually forced me to diversify. Kasi it's very important for us to be relatable. Not everyone that we get to deal with, not everyone na mamimit natin are cut from the same cloth, so to say. Not everyone has the capacity and the aggressiveness to go into the stock market. So if you're the type of guy, if you're the type of investor who's just exposed to the world of stocks, yung conversation nyo ng existing or potential clients na wala masyadong involvement sa stock market, it's going to be very limited. So from a personal and professional standpoint, I think we were forced and we're supposed to be diversified. And that's a good thing because it will again allow us to understand bond investing from a different perspective beyond books. It's going to allow us to understand bond market investing as a bondholder. It's going to allow us to understand stock market investing as a shareholder. It allows us to understand funds, UITF, mutual funds, even ETFs, from a vantage point of a unit holder, diba? Shareholder. Ganun din pagdating sa REITs, as property owners. So it's very important because of what we do, because of our role. I'm not saying pilit to. I'm not saying it's really part of the script. But for people who are really serious in what they do, for people as passionate as JP, Moneth, and the rest of the team, I think it's very important that you kind of allow your profession to take over sometimes, no, your personal life, at least in the form of having to force yourself to diversify, because that's a way for you to promote and explain investing better, because you're looking through it through the lens not just of a reader, not just of an observer, but as a true market participant. So we can talk about diversification over and over. We can talk about not putting all your eggs in one basket. Ang dami, and daling explain. No? But it's really a fun conversation when you talk about the nitty-gritty, really the detailed conversation with people, because that's the time na realize ng mga kliyente natin, ng mga potential clients natin, that these people, they really know what they're talking about. Hindi ito yung mga tipong tao na lumabas lang sa camera, umakyat lang sa stage just because they were asked to do that. These people really know what they're talking about, and I think to me, that's very important, because that sets us apart from the rest, and it gives us a lot of integrity and credentials points, so to say.
Okay, thank you, Sir Andoy. JP?
All right. Again, very nice question. No, I think this is one of the topics that are not that talked about as the usual, na lalo na sa mga 101s, because I think diversification is something that you realize once you are already slowly building some momentum when it comes to your portfolio. So for me, how I would say the diversification is really key, because as I mentioned kanina, because of the pandemic, it made me realize, no, fortunately for me, I was able to have some positions in bonds before the pandemic happened. And when the stock market went down during that period, it enabled me to experience the value of bonds. No, for me, that's an eye-opening experience. And siguro I'll share, no, in this podcast how I personally diversify my portfolio. Kasi ano naman talaga, pag nag-invest tayo, there are two main investment options naman talaga. First, you have your money market, but usually parking facility lang yan siya. When we're talking about growth ng fund natin, usually we mix them between bonds and stocks. Now, I got this diversification technique from John Bogle, which is actually a well-known person in the mutual fund industry. He had this equation wherein he said that 100 minus your age. No, he had that equation, And he said that your age, whatever your age will be, that's your percentage allocation in bonds, the rest in stocks. So again, the equation is 100 minus age. Whatever be the difference there would be your allocation in stocks and your age and in bonds. So in this case, for my specific portfolio, I'm 33 years old. So I'm doing my best to keep my allocation to have 33% in bonds and 77% in stocks. Because right now, I'm still decades away from retirement. So I can allocate more aggressive investments like in stocks because I can take advantage of the growth potential over the long term. Right now, I also have allocation in bonds, pero it's only 33% because right now, the growth potential of the stability that your bonds give and the interest income you receive regularly is not as important as what you get from the growth potential of stocks right now. But syempre, as you age, nasabihin natin, umabot na tayo ng 50 years old, then by then, our allocation should be 50% in bonds, 50% in stocks. When you reach retirement, you'll have 60 years old, 60% in bonds, 40% in stocks. So nag-shift na po yung balance because when you reach retirement age, mas importante na sa'yo yung stability and regular income you get from your bonds rather than the growth potential of stocks kasi nandun ka na sa retirement stage mo. So that's how I allocate between stocks and bonds. Now, if we're going to go deeper, pagpunta naman sa stocks, this is how I diversify my stock portfolio. As I mentioned, right now, more into passive investor na ako. That's why 50% of my stock portfolio is in Philippine Stock Exchange Index. Right? Personally, I use FMETF. I just invest there regularly every time I have a salary. But majority of the portfolio is in the index. I'm okay with average returns. Parang tinanggap ko na yan siya. I'm okay with average returns as long as I'm diversified to the top 30 stocks. And yan. And dito naman tayo sa other half, Yung sa 30% naman, my bias is really into dividend-paying stocks. So usually yan from mature companies and real estate investment trust. So that's 30% for the dividend income. And meron na din namang 20%. As I mentioned kanina, yung mga grossly undervalued stocks, ito na yung tinitrade ko, But yun, active management is just like 20% ng portfolio. I prefer to grow passively via the index. Kaya ganun yung composition ko. So, yan, again, to recap, my age in bonds, the rest in stocks. Tapos sa portfolio, because my bias is to grow using the index. So majority, 50% in index, 30% dividend-paying stocks, and 20% undervalued. But again, that strategy might be only working for me. It may be different for you because investing is personal. So apply niyo yung strategy that best fits your investment goals. Thank you, Jo.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much for your insights. So just to sum it up, kumbaga diversification is indeed talaga a fundamental investment strategy. And at the same time, it's also crucial in managing your risk. So madami siyang pros and cons. So first, reduce risk. So you got to spread your investment, you mitigate the impact of a single investment performing poorly. Another is increase returns. So you diversify to potentially boost your overall returns by capturing gains dun sa mga iba't ibang asset classes. Tapos improve also your portfolio performance. So kumbaga, you can enhance the overall performance of your portfolio by reducing yung mga correlation between your investments. And last of the pros is the protection against market volatility. So which brings me to my next question, which is about market volatility. So how do you handle this thing? Tapos do you have a plan in dealing with those downturns? Okay, so maybe we can start Zero JP, Miss Monette, Sir Andoy.
All right, I'll answer that question first. Again, very good question, because again, pag pag tinitingnan natin yung emotional biases ng tao, may tinatawag tayo na prospect theory, wherein paminsan tinitingnan lang natin yung potential returns from our investment, we overestimate those potential but we underestimate the losses that we are going to encounter, no? And you have to admit talaga when you are into investing, hindi lang yan always paakyat, no? There are really market volatility as a question ni Joe. So I think it's very important to prepare for the downturns. So for this part, no, again, pasok ko dun sa sagot ko sa diversification. Kasi ganito, for example, yung stock market, umangat siya ng, let's say, 10%. So kung pupunta ako doon sa total portfolio ko, yung stock position ko will also be 10%. Mas malaki na yung allocation niya by 10%. So what I usually do pag umaakyat yung market, since my allocation is 33% bonds, 77% stocks, pag umakyat na yung portfolio ko ng stocks, what I usually do is I take profit from stocks, reinvest it in bonds para babalik siya doon sa 77-33 na exposure. Diba? So, pag bumaba naman yung market, let's say, as the question is being asked, no, na what if bumaba siya? So, pag bumaba yung market, yung tendency ko is para mabalik siya doon sa allocation, I tend to find good opportunities sa market. Bibili ako more, number one, sa index or doon sa mga undervalued stocks. Now, punta naman tayo doon sa stocks na part, no? So pag bumababa yung stocks, no, doon sa portion ng portfolio ko na naka-invest sa index, yung strategy ko kasi is peso cost averaging. So for me, volatility is an opportunity for that part of my portfolio. So I just keep on buying kasi yun ang strategy ng PCA eh, 'di ba? Always be buying. And maganda kasi noon pag downturn yung market, for the same amount of money, you'll be able to buy more shares of that index. So if you're going to do that over the long term, mas marami kang mabibili at a lower price. Kaya giving you better returns for your strategy, no? Pero yan, that's the strategy for the index. Pero doon sa mga tinitrade ko na stocks or undervalued stocks, different naman yung approach. Kasi pag trading yung pinag-usapan, pag inabot niya na yung maximum kaya ko na downturn or loss, sabihin natin sa akin, usually niyan 8 to 10% ng position ko. Pag bumaba na siya by 8 to 10%, tapos it's a short-term trade, syempre may strategy there is to cut loss. No? Cut loss talaga siya kasi mali yung entry. No? So, again, as I mentioned, different strategies would have different na mga operations yan na gagawin mo. So make sure lang that you adapt, no? Hindi natin babaliktarin kasi yung iba paminsan they bought it for a short-term trade pero bumaba na, hindi na nila kaya i-take yung loss, nagiging long-term siya, 'di ba? So again, we can separate natin for different reasons for entries. We should have different reasons for exit and different parts of your portfolio should behave differently as you deem fit. So, yun. Thank you, Jo.
Thank you, JP. So, let's move forward with Ms. Monette.
Yes, so thank you for that question, John. No? So, talking about market volatility. So, may sinaset kasi ako na parang take profit na ako once a certain stock reach 20% of the cost of my stock. So, if ever up yung market, tapos na-reach na yung 20% ng target profit for that certain stock, nagta-take profit na din ako. Para pwede ko siyang ma-reinvest with other, either sa bonds or sa mga undervalued stocks, yung mga sales proceeds. So, if ever naman bababa yung market, so ito siya yung ginamit ko, yung peso cost averaging strategy with that certain na stock. So, parang dinoble ko pa yung allocated amount para mas marami pa akong shares na mabili for that certain stock. So, pag yung cycle na ng market is pababa, if may opportunity ka na mas damihan mo yung buying power mo para mas maraming shares kang mabibili pag nasa deep na or hindi naman talaga natin malalaman na bottom na talaga yung market sa pagbili mo ng stock na yun. No? So, prepare ka lang ng cash extra mo para mas may marami kang mabiling shares. So, yun siya in terms of market volatility.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Monette. Sir Andoy?
Yeah. Sa akin, let me just circle back to my response, no, dun sa learning curve, and siguro to marry the ideas we got from JP and Moneth. It's also you against you. When you talk about market volatility, it's you, your portfolio, and your investing strategy at work. If ever meron ka talagang investing strategy, no? Or the absence of an investing strategy. Kasi during market volatility, dito papasok yung resiliency mo, dito papasok yung science behind what you're doing. And to a certain extent, dito rin papasok yung greed. Greed kasi, ayaw mong bitawan yung stock kasi ini-expect mo na, hindi, pabawi siguro to. I'm down 20%. Pag bumawi ito, magbebenta ako when I'm up 40%. Diba? Parang, again, in a perfect world, it could happen. But as Monet put it, parang minsan, it's actually wiser for us to cut losses and then look for a faster horse, cut losses and look for something else, because not all stocks are created equal. Not all investment vehicles are created equal. Some perform better during certain times of the year. Some perform better during crisis. Some perform better during the recovery phase. Some perform better during a bull run. So I think doon papasok yung guidance. When it comes to managing market volatility, no one person can beat market volatility, because market volatility will always be there, whether you like it or not. Parang preparing yan for an emergency. Ayaw mong mangyari ang emergency. Ayaw mong may hospital, ayaw mong may aksidente, ayaw mong may magkaroon ng sakit, ayaw mong mabangga yung sasakyan, ayaw mong masira yung bahay, but there will come a time na pwedeng mangyari yun. But what's important there is you're prepared, especially on a financial level, for you to get through that. No? And that's what's good about, I think, what we do. We're not preparing, we're not preaching, we're not saying that we can call it right every 100% of the time. What we're saying is we're going to be able to guide you every step of the way. We're not fortune tellers. We can't call it right again 100% of the time. But what's important here is we're very flexible. We're going to tell you how we see the market. We're going to tell you which stocks, which vehicles we like, we don't like. So that at the end of the day, we're not going to leave you hanging. We're not going to, just ask you to, follow the Facebook bandwagon, the Facebook hype. At the end of the day, you're still going to get an educated guidance from First Metro Sec. No? So yung market volatility, again, it's something that we don't have control over, but it's something definitely that we can manage. No? And that's one of our reasons for existence. When you talk about market education, it's not just about webinars, seminars, not just about teaching people about the basics to the more intermediate to advanced. It's really hand holding, letting you guys know what's happening sa market. That's why very important yung mga communities na binibuild namin, Viber communities, Facebook communities. We have several other online communities. We're not doing that for fame or for fortune or for us to be able to gather, tons of followings. We're doing that because, again, it's very important for us to let you know our insights about the market. In fact, hindi lang one way yun. Sometimes we even ask you to vote. Dito among our top traded stocks, alin dito yung gusto nyong pag-aralan namin? These are top traded, not necessarily the top gainers. Baka meron sa inyo parang nagdadalawang isip, do I sell now, do I buy now? So at least you're not in the dark. No? But just goes to show that we are we love what we do, we're very passionate, and at the same time we're also listening to what you guys need and what you guys would like us to do next. That's it.
Okay, thank you, Sir Andoy. So again, it's important to note that market volatility is normal part of investing. I think the keyword here is inevitable. So it's very challenging to navigate. The important thing is for us to understand the factors that drive it and also implement some game plan, on how to kumbaga manage the risk of your profile. Okay, So, talking about market volatility, well, I think it's a bit related to my next question. No? So, let's now talk about the importance of, or maybe you can share your perspective about the long term versus short term investing. So, kumbaga, do you have a mix of both ba? Or maybe you can share some insight. So, maybe we can start with Sir Andoy.
Oh, sure, sure. In all honesty, I started having both. I used to have both. No? When I say I used to, kasi back then I think I can still afford to spend time to study the market and look for short-term trades. But when I started maturing, so to say, maturing, when I started leading people, when I started heading teams, both with in First Metro Second and my previous corporate job, no. Parang mas natuwa na ako dun sa leadership aspect, no. So I saw to it that I spend more time crafting, honing the skill, and focusing more on the long term aspects of investing. Pero hindi naman ibig sabihin na wala nang need for short term. But because of my needs and because of the milestones, kasi ngayon, if you're going to pick my brain, parang the goal again is not just for myself. It's always for other people involved na, no? Parang my family, my wife, my kids. It gives me tons of pressure. So to say, the good kind of pressure. It gives me tons of pressure to do well because again, you want the best future for them. Kaya heavy ako on short-term investments because I'm no longer thinking about. I think no, that's how selfless I am. Parang hindi ko muna iniisip yung short-term wants or needs ko because I'm a very simple guy. Parang hindi ako maluho. So it's really more for other people, my kids, my wife, my family. Kaya talagang heavy by design. I think talagang long-term investing suits me. So if ever there are opportunities for me to shorten my time horizon, parang tinitingnan ko pa rin at the end of 2-3 years, saan ako mag-reinvest. No? So, in fact, yung mga regular dividends na nakukuha ko from stocks, from REITs, normally, I just end up reinvesting them or yun yung nagiging reason ko for me to keep on diversifying to other assets. But again, maybe it's because of circumstances lang. Some people I know, some of our top clients, meron silang maintain talaga na dalawang portfolios, may short and long-term portfolios. But again, I used to have both, but because of certain things, because of certain circumstances, and because of conscious decisions, conscious choices, parang ngayon, I think safe to say nasa 80-85% talaga nasa long term.
Okay, thank you, Sir Andoy. So maybe we can hear from JP.
Ayan, great question again, Jo. No? So again, for me, as I mentioned kanina, I have a mix of both. I have a portion for short-term investing kahit dun sa portfolio ko. May 20% for trading or undervalued stocks. Pero majority talaga is long-term. As I mentioned, parang 50% of my portfolio is invested in the index. So ano lang yun? Peso cost averaging lang yun. Kaya for me, it's really a mix of both, no? And na-mention ko rin kanina, I used to be just an active trader pero nag-evolve siya from active to more into passive. Kaya ganun, yung strategy ko, peso cost averaging on the index. Tapos right now with actively managed na mga global funds, lalo na yung may mga income kayong nare-receive periodically, be it quarterly or monthly. So, mas nagigear yung investments ko to that. So, for me, sa personal ko, it's a mix of both. Pero yung bias ko is more skewed ako sa long-term na investing rather than short-term kasi mas minimal yung exposure ko sa short-term. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, JP. Miss Monet?
Thank you for that question, John. So same with JP and Sir Andoy. I still have both the short term and long term, but majority pa rin ng investment ko is on the long term. Especially kasi with the long term, parang yung strategies, the peso cost averaging strategy, tapos accompanied it with a voluntary investment program, and may tendency ako na nakakalimot every month. So that's why it's effective for me to be enrolled in voluntary investment program because I see to it na every month may investment talaga na napupunta with either sa FMETF or sa mga unit paying funds. But meron pa rin akong short-term investing kasi parang nasasayahan ako pag nakaka-trade ako. Especially kung nagte-take profit na ako kahit mga long years ko nang hinintay para ma-achieve yung certain na 20% percentage for that stock. Parang happy on my end. Parang may self-fulfillment siya pag nagte-trade ako on short term. Although minimal lang siya. So I still have both.
Okay, thank you, Miss Monet. So, again, investing is a personal journey, no? So, whether kung focus ka ba sa short-term gains or long-term growth, so, depende na sa iyo yun. So, I think let's wrap up, no? And let me just ask the final question and talk about the importance of education and research in investing. So, what resources do you use ba to stay informed about the market and some investment opportunities? So maybe we can start with Miss Monet.
So ngayon, I just rely with First Matrusec research report kasi because I realize when you get to download the daily na report, hindi lang siya yung stock call, yung parang summary the previous day or the previous week. Even yung mga reports, mga news pala, andun na. So you really don't need to check any other na mga news sa any website na. Kasi parang na-compile na siya. So, isahang document na lang. Tapos, alam mo pa na these news are actually has impact or these have impact sa mga investments mo. Whether bond ba or sa equity ba. So, lesser time for you na lang to search with those important na mga news. So, isahang access na lang ng First Matrusec research report. Basahin mo siya. Tapos summarize pa din siya. Parang one page or 2 pages. So, hindi mo na need basahin pa yung ibang sources. So, summarize na din per news. So, parang quick na on your end, no? Para makita yung mga iba't ibang aspect na market na news and even also na mga news for that certain companies. So, stay informed and then don't stop reading about investments kasi nag-evolve yung investment. So before, wala pang real estate investment trust. Tapos ngayon, mga 3-4 years ago, meron na. So dapat, alam mo kung ano yung REITs. Before, wala pa yung mga income-paying funds, pero ngayon meron na. Ano ba yun? So, dapat updated ka din sa mga new investment opportunities para ma-take advantage mo siya. Kasi kung hindi mo alam kung ano yung REITs, hindi mo alam yung mga unit paying funds, paano mo siya ma-maximize? So that's how I see the importance of research and at the same time of education.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Monet. Let's hear it from JP.
All right. I think this is one, though probably one of their last few questions, but I think this is one of the most important questions kasi the stock market or the investment world is very dynamic. So I think you have to educate yourself regularly. Ako, fortunately for me, when I tried to explore investing, actually one of the first seminars that I conducted, si Sir Andoy yung nag-conduct that time dito sa Davao. So that's where my learning journey started, no? And fortunately, my opportunity that I became part of the ranks, no, na kasi na-inspire ako sa passion nila and how they do things. We're in education talaga, no? Even when you look at our presentations, it's mostly 90% education, tapos yung mga features lang ni First Matrusec, I'd say 5 to 10% lang kasi for me, we want to make it very educational, no? Kasi ganun talaga kasi different naman kasi yung goals natin each, and the education will lead us to how we can apply it to our individual na strategies, no? And when it comes to education, again, I encourage you to check our Facebook page so you can attend our live webinars. Pero if you were not able to catch them live, most of the time it's uploaded on our YouTube channel, so you can check them out for continuous education. I recommend that you still attend regularly. Ako natutuwa ako, may mga ibang clients na every time kahit same topic lang, I get to see similar people pa rin. That tells me that they are really lifelong learners. And kahit ako nga, nahiya ako paminsan pag kasi part of our job, paminsan na-invite kami to different government institutions, private companies to conduct sessions about this. Pero they sometimes consider us as an expert. Pero personally, I call myself as a lifelong student. Kasi evolving always yung investment world. I don't want to be overconfident naman na parang pumapasok sa utak na expert na, no? I still consider myself as a lifelong student. Araw-araw, there's always something new about the market, and that's an opportunity for us to learn. Now, when it comes to research naman, fortunately, as mentioned ni Monette, our research team is doing that work for us kasi nga sila yung naghihimay ng news, tapos they relate to us ano yung insights nila. So, yan. Dami kaming reports from the daily reports na na-mention ni Monette. Meron din kaming reports na sasabihin natin na kung gusto mo lang ng dividend-paying stocks or mga undervalued stocks or mga may momentum na stocks, we have a fundamental screener for you. Pipiliin mo na lang doon, at least na-screen na siya for you. Sa research team din namin, may mga preferred sectors kami and stock picks. So, you can check out our Traders Playbook na webinar, no, para makita niyo yung guidance namin sa market. Siguro once or twice a year. I think twice a year siya usually na upload, no. So again, may report kami for active traders, yung Traders Playbook report na as in I love that report so much because it will tell you what happened. Sasabihin ng analyst anong tingin niya sa impact sa stocks, either sa fundamentals or sa technical perspective. And lastly, sasabihin niya doon yung recommendation. Saan maganda bilhin? If bababa, saan siya pwede i-cut loss? If aangat siya, saan maganda i-take profit? No? So you can use that as filter. Ako, ginagamit ko siya as filter kasi again, investing is personal. So I apply what they screened. I apply it to my personal trading strategies. And all of that is available for free. Hindi nyo kailangan bayaran within the platform. So I hope you take advantage of it kasi ang alam ko may iba din dyan na kailangan mo magbayad in order to avail of that resources. Na dito sa First Metrosec, free naman siya. No? So I hope makatulong siya sa investing and trading journeys ninyo. And yun, sabay-sabay tayong matuto. No? Let's learn from each other. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, JP. And lastly, to Sir Andoy.
Yes, let me begin with the research. No, parang it's also nice to point out that as employed individuals sa First Metrosec, sometimes it's very difficult for us to delineate between our personal take on the market and the house view of First Metrosec. So 90% of the time, we just voice out the house view of our research team. And that's something I've gotten used to over the past 9 years I've been with the firm. Because sabi nga nila GP, it's just making our lives easier, no? And also that's something we'd like our clients to appreciate. Masyado tayong busy, masyado tayong maraming sources of information. There are media outlets, there are investment fora, there are groups, there are pages, there are self-proclaimed masters, investment gurus, no? So may mga kanya-kanyang followings yan. And again, I have nothing against them. I'm just trying to simplify a day in my life, and it all begins and it all ends with First Metrosec research. By the time I wake up, meron na silang idea about what's probably going to happen sa market. By the time I wake up, in fact, meron na nga minsan research about what happens sa global markets. During the day, I get updated about what happened sa market during the lunch break. Malalaman ko by 3:15 kung anong nangyari sa index, anong nangyari sa market. May mga recommendations, no? So it filters out the noise, it filters out all the unnecessary stuff so that you just end up getting what's important. And again, at this day and age when fake news is very rampant, it's a blessing to be able to get access to that kind of material. When it comes to education, I think that's also something that I'd like to believe sets us apart. Siyempre, first MetroSec din. Because yung education aspect of what we do, again, it goes beyond education. We don't allow people to go up on stage. We don't allow people to lecture. We don't allow people to teach na hindi sila licensed. We take our jobs seriously. Na again, we professionalize it. We undergo trainings. We undergo learning and development programs. We keep ourselves abreast of what's happening sa market because again, sabi ko nga, we can't teach what we don't know. So it all again begins and ends with us. Hindi namin maituturo sa inyo, hindi namin ma-explain sa inyo yung mga bagay-bagay, yung mga bago sa merkado kung kami mismo hindi namin alam yun. And we do it on a multitude of platforms. No? Pre-pandemic, we were confined to just doing seminars, Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao. We go everywhere. During the height of the pandemic, that was when we started dabbling with webinars. That was the time we started populating our YouTube channel. Till end of the pandemic, we started experimenting with TikTok, and look where we are now. We have TikTok superstars, JP Billones and Moneth Pangatungan, diba? And slowly, parang we're going into various channels like this podcasts, no? Podcasts, whether it be audio only or a combination of video and audio podcasts, because we understand na iba-iba rin yung preferences ng mga learners. No? Sabi ni JP, lifelong learners, pero may ibang preferences yan. Yung iba gusto nila on-site, then we have on-site. Yung iba gusto nila webinars, then we have webinars. Yung iba gusto nila TikTok lang, short form lang, we have TikTok. Yung iba walang time to go live, then we have YouTube. Yung iba gusto audible lang, makikinig lang ako, then we have podcasts. No? And slowly, we're also venturing to online articles. We're writing, we're reviewing articles for Ernest of Metrobank, Metrobank Life Banking. And for those of you who don't have enough time or enough data, enough resources to go online and read online articles, we have a 12-chapter financial literacy ebook project namin with Metrobank. It's called Moneybility. So walang ligtas eh. But that just goes to show how well thought of our approach is. Ayaw naming may maiwan, ayaw naming may alienate. And that also goes to show how cohesive First MetroSec is with the mother bank, with the mother unit Metrobank, because halos lahat ng galaw namin well coordinated, and we're collaborating on a number of projects. So I'm actually going to take this opportunity to invite you guys to follow us on our socials. We're everywhere on Facebook, on TikTok, on Instagram, YouTube, because we have so much in store for you by the tail end of the year, and most importantly, by 2025.
Yes, thank you, Sir Andoy. So again, research and education, they both play a very big role in making informed investment decisions. So to mention some of the benefits ng research, increase confidence, mainly because you know what you are doing, and also enhance returns because you know what is happening sa portfolio mo. So again, there are a lot of resources for learning from books, yung mga traditional style natin ng mga libro, to the most accessible ng mga online courses, as well as yung mga groups, and of course from our market education and research team. So yes, that's a wrap. So thank you, Sir Andoy, JP, and Miss Monet for sharing your inspiring investing journeys. We hope our listeners have gained valuable insights from this conversation. So again, remember, your investment journey is unique. So you keep learning, you keep exploring, and most importantly, you keep investing. So again, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our podcast for more investing tips and insights. And finally, a special thanks to Sir Andoy. Again, JP and Ms. Moneth, no, for their valuable contributions, especially to the market education team, no, as your expertise has been invaluable to our listeners. So perhaps some parting words from our for our listeners, no, before we formally end this podcast. So maybe you can give some advice, especially to those who are just starting their investing journey. So maybe we can start with Ms. Moneth.
So, parting words. Yeah, so pwede kang mag-start small, but be consistent. So, importante yan. And of course, be updated. So, you already have First Metrosec research reports. For sure, hindi nyo na mamimiss yung mga important na mga news, updates. Kailangan nyo lang siyang basahin. Yung everyday na reports namin, or even those that are posted in Viber or even in our Facebook community. May shorter pa na version sa First Metrosec research report. Pa rin siya mahanap sa Facebook community at saka sa Viber community namin. So that's before the 9:30, tapos on the closing of the trading hour at 3:00. Tapos, invest consistently, be educated as well, and also diversify your portfolio. And lastly, think long term. So that's it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Monette. JP, maybe some parting words.
Yeah, so maybe lalo na sa mga beginners, no, those who are starting to invest, I just have to reiterate what Monette mentioned, no, that it's okay to start early. It's okay to start small as long as you start as early as possible. Because again, we can use the power of compounding to our side, no? Ako, I started investing at age 25. How I wished I learned about these stuff at an earlier age, pero I cannot turn back time already. So the way I pay it forward to the next generation is if kung may mga invitations kami from the academe, mga 18 somethings or 20 somethings, I make it to a point to really teach them, no? Kasi how I wish there was someone like me who taught the stuff that we know at that age, no? Kasi kahit konti pa lang, no? Even if we do the math, kahit konti lang i-invest mo, as long as you start as early possible, compounding will be on your side. And so yun, start early. Tapos once you once you get started, become a lifelong student, no? Learn about the markets, very dynamic, and yun, always be learning. And number 3 that I'd like to share with you, I think this is one of the common mistakes of people, no, when it comes to investing. Kasi when they invest, paminsan yung tinitingnan lang nila is the returns that they're going to get. Even yung mga clients na nakakausap namin paminsan, pag sinisharean mo sa kanila, yung unang tanong nila always is, magkano bang kikitain dyan? No? But again, for me, I'd consider that to be siguro final question that you're going to ask. You always have to first ask is, kaya ba siya ng risk tolerance mo? No? Kasi sometimes, those that give you high potential returns, it entails higher amount of risk. And we might be attracted to the high returns, pero baka hindi natin kaya yung risk involved with it. So, mas unahin dapat natin i-consider yung risk. No? So, you need to understand your risk tolerance and stick with that, no? It's okay, no, that you missed out on those better opportunities. As importante lang is that within your risk tolerance siya, no? So, yan. After that, identify your risk. Tapos number 2, match your investing with your time horizon, no? Kasi paminsan, yung question ng tayo is magkano yung kikitain dyan. Pero I hope na kung meron kayong investment goals, For example, gusto nyo mag-save up for your first dream house. So siguro you're going to, that's going to be a 5-year plan. So may appropriate na investment for that. Compare mo yan, for example, long-term, like retirement, like what I do. I am doing my best to prepare for retirement talaga. That's decades away. And stocks might be a better option for that, for the long-term potential gains niya. No? So, yun. Yung iba, like emergency fund. No? Syempre, yung emergency fund, stocks is not the place to do that. You put that in a money market fund or something that has low risk, but importante lang kumikita siya kahit konti. No? So again, match your investment goals with the investment vehicle that you're going to put into, not the other way around. No? So, yun, before you look at the potential returns, himayin mo na lang din siya. So, I guess those are my siguro 3 tips for mga beginners. So, yan, number 1, start early. Number 2, become a lifelong learner. And number 3, match your investment goals with your preferred investments. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, JP. And lastly, to Sir Andoy.
Yes. Ako, let me be very consistent every time I go on stage, every time I get asked, the same questions, similar questions about, my message to, people who are just starting, mga beginners, mga newbies, no. JP and Moneth, they mentioned something about it's okay to start small, it's okay to start slow, no. So starting small and starting slow, it involves patience. So dapat may patience. It's not going to be, when you talk about investing, especially in legitimate outlets, you're going to have to wait a while. That's when you're investing in a legitimate investment vehicle. You'll need time. So patience is very important. Andyan yung disiplina, andyan yung konting sacrifice, because instead of you splurging, instead of you shopping every now and then, instead of you adding stuff to your cart, you're forcing yourself to invest. No? Kaya purposely, I wore this shirt, Invest Now, Blank Later. This one of our parang highly sought after merch, Invest Now, Blank Later, because it pretty much summarizes what investing is all about. No? You are your boss when you talk about investing, but you're also the boss when it comes to the fruits of your investments. Kaya blank eh. Ikaw bahalang maglagay kung ano yung blank na yan. Are you going to buy a sports car later? Are you going to, buy a diamond ring for your engagement later? Are you going to buy a dream house later? Doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, it's going to be your goal. So, last thing, if they said it's okay to start slow, it's okay to start small. Ako naman, never be afraid to start. It's always, it's okay for you to be a beginner. Okay lang na hindi tayo masyadong magaling pa sa umpisa, hindi ka masyadong marunong pa sa umpisa. But again, that's all part of the process. And I think what's good about First Metro Sec is it doesn't matter if you're a beginner, doesn't matter if you're an intermediate investor, or if you have a trading strategy of your own. Doesn't matter, because regardless of your investor type, we're actually I'm here to help. We're here to provide support and guidance, and that's how expansive our market education campaigns are, because basics to intermediate to advanced, we cater to all of those. And sabi nga ni JP, parang we don't stop there. We're lifelong learners. Kaya kung mapapansin nyo, we keep on progressing. Yung mga events namin nung January, we improved that over the course of time. Yung mga events namin from years ago, ini-enhance namin over time. Kung feeling natin masyadong one way yung engagement, we improve engagement, we improve interaction, we gamify events. So we bring guests over. We ask our FundSmart partners to take the lead. And again, that's what we do because we'd like your experience to be diversified then at the same time. So ayun, I think that's my parting shot. And again, thank you for the opportunity. This, by the way, my first time to participate and be part of our podcast. So thank you for having me.
Okay, so all right, folks. So that's a wrap. So again, a huge thank you to our guests and for sharing their timeless investment principles. And also a massive shout out to all of you for joining us today. So again, remember, investing is a journey. It is not a sprint. So you keep on learning, you keep on growing, and most importantly, you keep investing. So we hope to have you again in our future learning events because over here at First Metro Securities, we put your future first.
Thanks for listening to First Metro Securities Philippine Stock Market Weekly podcast. Don't forget to follow us to get first dibs on our new episodes. For more up-to-date market news and info, exclusive content, and the opportunity to connect with your fellow Filipino investors and traders, join facebook.com/groups/FirstMetroSec and be part of the First MetroSec family.
First MetroSec is providing this podcast as a general market commentary. Reference to any specific security, product, or entity do not constitute as an offer or a solicitation of an offer to buy or sell any financial instruments or to participate in any particular trading strategy. The statements, comments, views, or opinions expressed by the hosts are subject to change without notice, and First MetroSec is under no obligation to update, amend, change, or correct any of the statements, comments, views, or opinions expressed. The statements, comments, views, and opinions expressed by the guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the view of First MetroSec. First MetroSec disclaims any liability arising from reliance on or reference to any information obtained in this podcast.
The views and opinions expressed by the podcast creators, hosts, and guests do not necessarily reflect the official policy and position of Podcast Network Asia, the hosts of the program, or other programs of the network. Any content provided by the people on the podcast are of their own opinion and are not intended to malign any religion, ethnic group, club, organization, company, individual, or anyone or anything.